Hey everybody, it's Gombledex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Aetherdrift with one alchemy card added to each pack. I've actually been having a lot of fun with these alchemy drafts lately. They are incredibly bomby, incredibly swingy, incredibly rare reliant, rare dependent, but we've had some spicy decks the past couple times. A really nice Mardu Start Your Engines deck into weird kind of like Bant artifact bomb deck. It was mainly just like green blue exhaust, but the artifact rares showed up a lot and were really interesting to play around with. So I've been having a lot of fun. There's been cool things we can do with these new alchemy cards that have spiced up the format a little bit, giving us a little bit of variety, which is what I like about the drafts. So I'm pretty excited to hop back in here. Is what I mean to say. So without further ado, let's just take our pack one, pick one incredible alchemy removal spell. 3 mana, destroy a creature, vehicle, and the controller loses 2. So it's an efficient removal spell that also raises your speed if you've started your engines. I like that a lot. Ketrodon might still be the best card here, but this is definitely the best card outside of Ketrodon. Valor's Flagship is very narrow, very expensive, not the greatest. So I'm taking Unforgiving Overtake there, and pick 2 will just take Possession Engine. It's a card we played many times before. Very powerful, 2-for-1 rare, big 5/5 creature. Steals your opponent's best creature and uses it to crew itself and get attacks in. Pick number 3. Flood the Engine is solid removal in this format because there's very few ways to blow up enchantments, so that is a somewhat high pick, and our strongest card right now is Possession Engine. So we definitely want to stick to blue if there's no reason to hop onto another color, and there's no strong reason to do so. Pick number 4. Here's a spin out in black to go with our Unforgiving Overtake. Get us deeper into potentially blue-black here. That's my favorite of the blue and the black cards. I do think Broodwagon's a little bit stronger, but probably not strong enough to be going for a double green card here and pushing towards a third color. I'm just going to take spin out. Green is also like the most contested color in the format, draft over draft, so the hardest one to get into a little later in the pod. This pack's pretty weak. Gastel Raider has underperformed a lot throughout the format because there's just so many artifact spells like vehicles and stuff instead of instants and sorceries. So it misses quite a lot, and it's a pretty bad card if it misses. It's a pretty good card if it hits and you make your opponent discard an instant or sorcery, but it just doesn't happen that often. I still think it's probably the spiciest choice here. The pack's just pretty weak all around. Maybe it's just Thornwood Falls for speculative fixing. I mean, Maximum Overdrive is good for any deck trying to raise its speed. I don't really think that's blue-black, but could still be decent. I'm just going to take the Gastel Raider, though. I think, despite saying all the flaws of it, I'm probably still too high on Gastel Raider. Like, maybe the best pick was still just Overdrive there. Pick 6, there's not a lot going on yet again. These packs have been pretty weak, sadly, especially by Alchemy standards, because the Alchemy card that's added to each pack, it's 100% added. It's not replacing anything, so the packs are even deeper in terms of the number of cards in them, and the Alchemy card is always an uncommon, rare, or mythic, so the rarities in the packs are upped on average by quite a bit as well, towards a lot of bomby stuff showing up. So usually you get stronger cards later in these drafts because there's been more cards for people to choose from, and they've been higher power level in general, but that has not been the case this draft. Spatial Interference is also fine here, but I'm going to go for the Overdrive. We're deeper on the black. See, this is the kind of stuff you kind of expect to see in the Alchemy drafts, like a pick 7 Tarian, which would not happen very often at all in a regular draft of the format. There isn't even a card I would play in the blue-black deck that we're building right now, so we speculate on Tarian, as unlikely as it is this late to end up in green. Pick 8 also pretty awkward. There's the Ether Hive if we end up in blue-green. I think that's the closest to what we're doing here, but the Bloodfell Caves or the Bleachbone Verge are fine. Speculative fixing. Mako, speculating towards blue-red cycling, but again, pretty deep on black here to do that. I might take speculative fixing over the Ether Hive. Would that be insane? So much deeper into black than blue. I'm going to do it. I'm going to speculate on fixing there. And just take the stronger dual. The rares are better than the commons in this format because they're always untapped sources. There's another Overdrive. Not a fan of this pack 1 overall. Our early picks were really strong, but they dried up pretty quickly, so we're looking for more power out of pack 2 at this point for sure. I think Grease Wrench Goblin's probably strong enough, or enough stronger than Surveyor to take it here. Both the blue spells we took really early, so it doesn't even look like blue's super open or anything, so being open to swapping around the secondary color could be reasonable. Locust Spray here, fine filler. Nothing here, basically. Nothing here. I'm probably not running 3 maximum overdrives, but I really don't want to run a Surveyor or a Stall out either. I mean, taking Gastelrator over the Overdrive worked really well, because I think that Maximum Overdrive is pretty underdrafted. It does tend to go insanely late like pick 13. Okay, that's a really late Spectral Interference. It's actually an okay sign towards blue yet again. Like, we took some good... Okay, we get to play blue. We took some good blue cards really early, and then there was really nothing for quite some time, but then that Interference super late is a perfectly playable blue spell, so it looks like a fine color to be in this draft pod, and then we opened up maybe the strongest blue rare in the main set. Probably not the strongest blue rare within the Alchemy set, because the Alchemy cards are insane, but this is still really, really good. So a 4 mana 2/4, and you get a 3/2 vehicle that crews for only 1. And it's also a flyer as long as you control Mu, and you get to crew, attack, draw the card off of the trigger, and get way ahead in value from that. So Mu Yanling is fantastic. I've never gotten to caster before, though, so I'm pretty excited. Cursed Cloth Wrapping's also fantastic. Very late gameplay, very slow, but this format can get into a lot of board stalls where this takes over those long games super easily. This is far better in Golgari than Dimir, but it is still more than powerful enough to be taking over Grimbauble. Pick number 3, the Mammoth towards green, but Mu Yanling and Possession Engine, I feel very locked on the blue. I think it's just Dimir at this point with these bombs. It's just where the power in this deck is, really. Okay, I'm really looking for creatures. Even just a filler one like Grim Javelineer looks fine here. I think, you know, the color pair as well as the quality of removal I have already. I'm not really in the market for Scrap Compactor. So it's Starting Column or Bloodfell Caves for speculative fixing. Or it's just Javelineer to get the creatures filled out a little more. Doesn't feel great to take it that early, but I think that's where we're at. Here's a Night Market over Mammoth. Man, this was... It feels like we can draft green in every draft pod in this format. I've said this every single time I don't draft green, because it feels like you're supposed to draft green every single draft because of how deep of a color it is. But at some point, you gotta commit to just being like, no, I'm over it. Take Dismal Backwater here. Nimble Thopterist also looks really good. That's particularly good with Mu Yanling, because she triggers off of any flyer dealing combat damage to a player. So even a servo token counts. That might be better than Backwater, actually. Could also splash in a bunch of red removal. We're seeing red removal in like every pack here. I don't think Bloodghast is super good. Especially not in Dimir. So it's Backwater or Thopterist. I'm actually going to go Thopterist. Find another Flood the Engine, that's pretty great. Yeah, I mean, I guess this just could be another green draft. Pick 7. Stop. Stop green cards. I guess we got our victory here. 3 mana 2/2, it starts our engines if we get any powerful late game max speed cards. But it also has its own really powerful ability if we make it to max speed. Being able to tutor out these bombs is good between Possession Engine, Mu, and Cursed Cloth Wrappings. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but I don't know how Chinese characters are pronounced. Calaxian Compactor. Not super happy either way. I'll grab Calaxian. I think I'll have enough blue and black removal to not play Scrap Compactors. Here's a Surveyor. I mean, I guess I can curve out with Glitch Ghost Surveyor into Mu Yunling, so I should have probably considered other Glitch Ghost Surveyors more highly. I'm just gonna hate on the green drafters if there's no blue or black card. Crazy late Defend the Rider. This looks fine. I've got some filler in here for sure, but I have an entire pack to improve this deck, and I only need like 3 more playables to have 23 non-land cards. So I think we'll end up with a pretty solid deck here. We certainly would have had an even more disgusting deck if we were in green, but I think that's the case for a lot of drafts. Let's take Gonti Night Minister. This is really nice with a bunch of flying creatures, so actually kind of just draft everything that flies from this point on, because we want evasive threats to go with Gonti, and we want specifically flying cards to go with Mu Yunling, so yeah, now Glitch Ghost Surveyors, Oil Gorgers, and stuff look really nice. We've got kind of a theme going on now between 2 of our different rares, triggering every time that we connect with a flying creature. 6 mana to get 1/1/1 Thopter off that launcher, because 3 to play it plus 3 to activate. I think I just go for Roadside Blowout over that, despite that technically being like the one flying creature in this pack. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Roadside Blowout. I think that card's way better. There we go. Another Thopterist is a really high pick for the deck. That Servo token working great with Gonti and Mu. Or Mew. It's probably Mew. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google it. The MTG Wiki should say, right? It says how to pronounce Ugin and Fibblethip and all that. Let's see. Pick 4. Oh, there's an Oil Gorger. I'll take that over Calaxian. That looks like all we're taking it over. I guess we're taking it over Trip Up and Scrap Compactor, but I have enough good removal to not play those cards. Pick 5, another Thopterist. Ooh, what are you? You look cool. Each creature you control with an exhaust ability has haste. Whenever you activate an exhaust ability that isn't a mana ability, copy it. That's awesome. That card's so cool. It doesn't do anything in this deck. No. Don't make me want to do more alchemy drafts. What is this? I should probably take Aether Siphon over Thopterist, actually. Got a lot of 4-drops. I have no 2-mana creatures. We've got a mana curve problem here and like no solution because we've just seen no good 2-mana creatures. Thank everything in the world. We found a 2-drop for this deck. That's so funny. I don't even remember passing any 2-drops, really. I guess I passed like the 2-mana 2/2 that you can pick up from the grave for 4 mana. Wow, we're so lucky. Get two of the perfect 2-drops in a row to have something before turn 3 on occasion. 2 2-mana 1/3 flyers. They're literally perfect because they're a 2-drop and they work with both of the rares that we're talking about here. So lucky. The MTG Wiki does not say how Mu Yunling is pronounced. Or it is tucked away somewhere that I am not finding. Alright. Rough. No flyers. Siphon Fuel it is. No flyers, no 2-drops. Here's a flyer. Come on in. Overdrive is awkward with this many flyers. I probably want like 2 maximum. I'm cutting basically all non-creatures right now, right? Yeah, 13 creatures. Sure, camera launcher, cut a non-creature. Considering cutting the first Howler's Heavy, so I don't think I'm drafting a second there. Alright. Well, shoot. I was a little too focused on Spice, a little not focused enough on mana curve, and we're going to have curve issues here. This is a slower format, so we might not get completely steamrolled in every game for just not having 2-drops, like you can be in most of the formats that came out last year. But it's still definitely an issue. We've got a curve issue here. And running more maximum overdrives does not help, because overdrive is not a 2-drop. You play it later once creatures are actually connecting with each other. So 15 creatures. And an hour victory that makes 16. Could cut like a creature like Calaxian here and go for all in on flyers. Camera Launcher does spit out a flyer. I could cut a Howler's Heavy as well. Awkward, kind of combat tricky more than it is a creature. Man, our non-creature spells are all like real solid. I'm guessing like Locust Spray. The overdrives are kind of weird when I have a bunch of removal and a bunch of creatures that ideally are just evasive anyway. They just sneak past our opponent's blockers. Right, like if I have the Flood the Engines, the Blowout, the Overtake, the Spin Out, the Siphon Fuel, the Possession Engine for their flying and reach blockers, we're not going to be connecting and using any combat tricks against the ground blockers. So I'm going to ditch those. And then one more card to cut. Considering our curve basically starts at 3 mana, keeping 2 landers is kind of like really risky for this deck, to where I don't think I can even play like a 16 lander here. I think I gotta be a full 17 lander. So, I mean, maybe I ditch the Ether Siphon. We're not super good defensively in terms of like the size of our creatures. I've got a decent amount of removal though, and Ether Siphon does play well with a bunch of 1/1 removal, just drawing into more of that and casting it. But it's not like we're not one of those decks that can just have a wide board and we're just in a board stall with our opponent sitting behind an Ether Siphon, milling our opponent out. It's not going to be like that. We can't cause board stalls super well with just all these little flying creatures. I don't know. I could also get rid of Spatial Interference because the majority of our removal is sorcery speed. We have 1 instant speed Spin Out and 1 instant speed Siphon Fuel. The rest is sorcery speed. And I only have like 3 exhaust abilities, 2 engineers, and 1 camera launcher to be holding up an instant speed. Outside of that, all of our creatures are also just tapping out at sorcery speed. Yeah, I'll actually get rid of the interference and keep the Siphon. And we'll run it like this. I was pretty confident this was going to be a fun and powerful deck early on in the draft, when we had like Cursed Cloth Wrappings, Muyan Ling, a bunch of removal, a Possession Engine. But then when we got later and realized I had no 2-drops, now I'm very concerned. So I'll meet it right in the middle. My guesstimate here is this is like a 3/3 sort of deck, because I think the curve's going to cause us some issues, but there's still a lot of power in this deck and a lot of interaction and some pretty fun plans to try to accomplish throughout these games. So without further ado, let's just hop into the gameplay and see how this deck does. Alright, here we are on the play. Being on the play is going to be very helpful in a deck with like almost no 2-mana cards in it. It's a Night Market for us. Really easy to play on turn 2, but with 4 mana already, I might end up cycling that here. If I draw basically any more lands, I'm going to wish that I had held that behind to cycle later. Okay. More likely to raise my speed starting with Surveyor, but I'm more likely to get rid of an instant or sorcery if I start with Raider, because I could play Surveyor and then have them just blow up the Surveyor. Have no instants or sorceries left by the time I cast Gastel Raider. I want to give my value. Cycle Locust Spray, that was probably the only instant or sorcery in their hand. It was! Come on. Oh, and I'm about to get bombed into the next realm. They just go land, outpace Oblivion, or just Thrill Roller and start bashing me down. Yeah, they're bashing me down with a Thrill Roller and an Aether Spark. I'm not super scared of this Monument to Endurance. They have no way to discard cards in their hand currently, but I'm guessing they're running every cycling card in red and black. If they draw a Thunderhead Gunner, that's the really nasty combo with the Monument. The Thunderhead Gunner, letting them ditch a card every turn and trigger that every turn. Okay, they're going to Mutant Surveyor. Fair. Keeps us from hitting them and raising our speed. We've drawn exclusively lands so far, sadly. So now they can just like run out an Ether Spark, put it on Mutant Surveyor, and because I have no removal, that's just valid. Okay. Alright. The one benefit to flooding the heck out. Gastel Raider does not do anything here. To us either. Perfectly timed roadside blowout. That's very funny. I can't play that and Surveyor. I think I'm just playing Surveyor then. Because I can blow out next turn to anything that they like attach an Ether Spark to. And then I'm also getting rid of a +1/+1 counter permanently. There's the Outpace Oblivion. Blow up Surveyor. I'll be able to draw a card off of that eventually, so not a huge deal. Gastel Raider's coming in. Working on Menace here. It's going to be a while, but I think I still trade Thopterist over Raider. Well, I have nothing else to cast because I'm super flooded, so I think I blow out instead of just cycling Market. I think I blow out Surveyor because then they don't have anything to put Ether Spark on next turn. They can't just play Ether Spark, throw it on Surveyor, and start jamming counters onto it. These draws, alright. Gonna be a cycle. Not holding anybody up to block the Thrill Roller because they can just discard the extra land to reanimate it. Mutant Surveyor's back. So probably Surveyor Thrill Roller. Yep. Take 4. Cool. Cycle Night Market. I am very happy that I did not play Night Market early. Another Surveyor. We make it to max speed this turn to draw a card off of the first one if I want, but I think I'm playing 100% to the board here and not activating it or anything. Just play Surveyor and Launcher. Ether Spark has hit the board. They could go Crew Thrill Roller Equip if they want to just get a million counters onto the Spark. They have one card in their hand, and if that card is not like a top-decked Maximum Overdrive, I think we should be on the kill the Mutant Surveyor plan. If it's a top-decked Maximum Overdrive or Lightning Strike or something, that's rough. Be a 9 loyalty Ether Spark next turn, but I can't attack the Ether Spark if it's still attached to a creature, regardless. And it's going to be 9 loyalty even if I don't block at all. Oh, it's 1-mana interaction? Locust Sprite? Wow, that's bad. Brutal. Going damage here. Yeah, Aether Spark is officially golden. Nothing we can do about that. I could have triple blocked, but against Rakdos, I thought it was just so much more likely they have a full-on Maximum Overdrive. And I thought if there was anything that was going to be like one removal spell, it would be like a lightning strike or something. Where I don't think it matters even if I triple block. I guess it would have mattered, right? Because they didn't have the mana to both buff and lightning strike. They only had the mana to buff plus one mana spell. Yeah, I guess I probably should have triple blocked. That plays horribly if they have maximum overdrive, but apparently I'm the only one who ever drafts that card. Everybody else has all the other tricks. So probably playing too heavily around maximum overdrive and not heavily enough around other cards. No attack with Surveyor. So not going to get a million spark counters this turn. I'm pretty happy with the way this turn has played out. Okay. This only hits for one more damage than Surveyor, and it requires me tapping 5 more mana next turn. If I don't, then it hits for one less than Surveyor. I think I play Surveyor. So I only hit for 6 in the sky, even if I have a exhausted engineer. It's going to take 2 more turns to kill them either way. They can't draw more cards off Aetherspark here this turn. Actually, they can. If they attack with Surveyor and then use it post-combat. Yeah, no, that's bad. No attack with Surveyor, though. Sure. So we're going for a 2-turn kill in the sky. I have to not die on the crackback. And I'm at essentially 6. Block, 3 blockers up. Just take the 4. I go to 4 life, take 2 from Oblivion. I live unless they... No, they can cycle with... They can cycle with the Raceway. I couldn't have stopped them from being at max speed because they could have cracked Oblivion instead of hitting me with Thrill Ruler, but I could have made them have to crack Oblivion, which would have shot them in the face for 2. Oh wait, no, we were at max speed. Oblivion doesn't shoot me at all. Shoot, maybe I actually should have been blocking with Thriller. I decided not to because I figured if I top deck any removal spell, I have lethal by not blocking. But, I mean, I should have known I was not top decking removal. Yeah, it looks bad here, but I think it was reasonable to not block. We haven't drawn a single removal spell this game, and we have a lot. And they're all lethal. Or would be lethal off the top. Three blockers up. They removal spell one of them. I still go block, block, take 7. They have to activate Raceway plus have the removal spell mana, but they do kind of have that mana. I think I just send Surveyor in. And I kind of still have lethal next turn. Pretty guaranteed here. And this is safer against them finding some way to break through my board and kill me. Off of the Aetherspark draw too. I think the position they're in, they kind of have to Ether Spark draw 2 pre-combat without even making it any bigger. It's kind of like I die right now or they die next turn. So it's like sack Ether Spark and see if they find the removal. Removal that shoots me for 2? Come on. I definitely would have died if I attacked anymore. I might still be dead to that. That's so good here. What a draw. I'm at 4 life. I think I'm still dead here. I'm dead to a light breeze if they sack the Ether Spark to draw 2. They go for the +1/+1 counter, though. I might not be dead to that. And now that I know they're not drawing any more cards this turn, I can just do the combat math. And if I survive this turn, they're dead. If I survive this combat math. Which I can. I just put Launcher on Thrill Roller. I'll go to 1. I guess I don't have a lethal crackback. God dang it. I don't have a way to have a lethal crackback here and still survive. Because I have to put that there to take 2, go to 1. Which means I have to go trade... oh wait, no, I do have a lethal crackback because they tapped out. I can just keep the 3/2. Okay, never mind, I'm done. I'm dumb. I thought I didn't have a lethal crackback because I was like... considering having to chump with Javelineer to keep all of the flying damage, but they have no cards in hand and all of their ground creatures are tapped, so I actually just get to attack back on the ground. Oh, I feel like I had no business winning this game. But I think we win. Far as I remember, Oblivion doesn't shoot me if I have max speed, but I'm not going to highlight it. Not going to highlight it. I stopped the maximum amount of damage I could stop. It looks like they reread it. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't, because we have max speed. Oh my god. Yeah, I really feel like I should have lost that game. That was really, really lucky. And I don't think I played super duper tight or anything, but I think our opponent just missed like a couple points of damage somewhere to keep us from fully dead in the end. Oh my god. All right. 1-0. 1-0. Heading into game number 2. Here we are for game 2 on the draw. I did say game 1 how much this deck benefits from being on the play because of how slow it starts off otherwise without 2-drops in it. So I'm really happy. Our first game on the draw, we actually have a 2-drop, so we still get to get started decently early. Start working that speed up with our victory as well. Unless they blow up Engineer. Do they also have that Unforgiving thing? That'd be kind of gross. They've started their engines, so it would be pretty good. The second black for spin out, but play the hour for speed. Okay, spin out is fine. At least they don't raise their speed or anything off it. Mono black for now. Probably stuck off of a second color over there. Here's a Night Market to cycle again. Drop Thopterus. Hold up spin out during combat in case there's some insane alchemy card I haven't seen before. That's some kind of flash black creature, but I doubt it. There's Thopterus. Spin out the Thopterus. That's very okay with me because I still am up a Thopter in that exchange. So I'm a little bit ahead off of that. Raider for my spin out. I would say my opponent. Why do my opponent's Raiders always work? But Last round, my opponent's Raider didn't work. Still frustrating, though, because I feel like mine never worked. They just have a cycling spell like they did last game. Still raise the speed here. Honestly, trading into a Gaslow Raider is not bad either, because it's not like the zombie token gets any better when we have max speed. It's just that the Hour of Victory is ready. What do you got for one? Locust Spray again? Locust Spray my 1/1 Thopter? Oh, Bailout. Okay, that doesn't do a ton here. We're just trading a zombie token 1-for-1 into Bailout instead of 1-for-1 into Gaslow Raider. Especially since it's our turns, they don't even get to raise their speed by casting it. Joke's on you, I am the master of Flood today. You thought I had a spell? You got me. Down to 17, they are at 2 speed. They are having the opposite problem. I'm pretty confident at this point, considering they're still on mono black and only 4 lands on board. Just cycle a Night Market here. I guess I could Hour Victory Crack instead. Yeah, that's better than drawing a random card. We grab Gonti, right? Gonti or Mew are both great. Curse Cloth Wrap is also kind of legit, but there's no actual creatures engraved. No, there's 2 of them. There's a lot of insane options here. I'm gonna go Curse Cloth Wrappings because it's the hardest for a black deck to interact with. It's harder for them to kill an artifact than it is for them to just spin out my Gonti as soon as I cast it before it triggers, or spin out the Mew as soon as I cast her before she triggers either. So Curse Cloth is just more likely to definitely do something this game. Considering I do already have creatures in grave. And I've certainly got mana as well. Don't mind bouncing that Tronga card, hitting 4 here. None of these are zombies, so I can just wrappings post-combat. Sadly, their second color is red, which is one of the colors with a little bit more artifact destruction than the others. So they could just have like a Sky Crash here, but they have to tap out a red to cast that if they do. Okay, looks like they don't. 4 mana for my most expensive creature in grave, so we cycle Night Market first and see if it finds a better play. Okay, it does. That's nuts. I forgot we had Possession Engine in here as well. I forgot how bomby this deck was. I might be misremembering, but I don't think we played any rares game 1, so I kind of just forgot these are all in here. This is wild. But as soon as I cracked that tutor and looked through, I was like, oh my Gonti, Moo, Curse Cloth. I saw all those. Forgot about Possession Engine, though, till I top-decked it. Outpace Oblivion. Goodbye, Launcher. Welcome back, Zombie Launcher. Again, I mean, I have a Curse Cloth Wrappings on board. I think the lands are actually a good thing this game. In the long run. I do only get to embalm 1 creature a turn, but it gets me to a point where if I top deck a spell, I can cast the spell and unearth something, embalm something.
Check out these wheels.
Okay, I mean, they're just dead on board. They're tapped out, so we can Possession Engine kill them next turn. Chandra does not do enough. I could have even killed that if I wanted to be super rude. But this feels pretty good too. On board lethal plus jam out the Gonti just cuz I get to play some of their cards. And that is game 2 and oh, I'm only 1 win away from feeling perfectly fine with where this deck ends up. So yeah, 2-0 heading into game 3 feels like a great spot to be. Here we are for game 3. Wrappings is really awkward in the opening hand, and I'm not actually doing anything proactive till turn 5. I'm playing an Oil Gorger. But these are powerful spells, and I do have both of my colors. But I also don't have double black guaranteed. I have 1 black. And it's awkward. I'll take the mulligan on it. 2 landers are really awkward for this deck too. But I think I have to keep this one. Any land, and it's in a really good spot with these 3 spells nice and early. Scurryfoot starts our opponent off, and we did hit the land. We get to start working our speed up on turn 3. Mono green for now. There's Gibberic Omnivore. Yeah, green is beef incarnate over there. Certainly not spending removal on the small creatures, but I'm not opposed to trading Surveyor into Omnivore here, because I draw a card off of it later, and I get to keep all this removal for the bigger stuff. I find an Earth Rumbler. So they're green-black. They probably have to take the swamp. Yeah. Feels good. Oh. 1 more island, please. I believe. Feel like I should spin out this Scurryfoot before they can activate it. So I don't have to spend 2 resources killing it. Killing a 3/3 and a 2/2. Especially since I have nothing else to cast this turn anyway. And I'm casting Spin Out instead of Overtake because if they deal with my Engineer or play a Reach creature, Overtake can maximize my speed. So because I'm already getting a damage in this turn, it doesn't matter that I'm doing 2 to them here. No, you were supposed to be an island. Alright, well, we're max speed either way. Still. Because I just blow up the Reach creature, but you get the idea. I would have cast both by now either way. Terrian. It's a pretty big problem if I don't hit my island. Oh my god, please not like this. I'm gonna take 9 to the face. So that I have flyer for drawing cards with Mew. Over chumping. Oh my god. That seems good. 14, no 15 counter Ether Spark. That's a black source too, so I can't cast these things. Alright, Mana Base says no, and we're moving on to game number 4. Here we are for game number 4. On the play here to make up for our only 3 drops in this deck. Playing against Rakdos. There's that Thrill Seeker, fastest deck in the format by a country mile over there. I think we gotta play defensive here, drop Javelin here to trade off. And have it shot at keeping them off of max speed for now. Bailout? Wow, so they still go up in speed, too? And they still have the mana for go to there. Oh, man. Outpace Oblivion for the Thopterus. The 1/1 Thopter doesn't block anything here, and they're at max speed already. That's Rakdos for you. This match we are super getting punished for our lack of 2 drops. I gotta have 2-drop blocker, 3-drop blocker, and so on. Much more reasonable chance, but this already feels practically unwinnable. So I'm just holding Siphon and killing their best card, because these 2/2s don't even really trade into anything. When they keep the Goda off the attack if they don't have removal. But not the Thrill Seeker. There's Raceway. Jam 4, we go to 9. Might just be all removal in their hand, in which case I can't really do anything about that. I can kill one Thrill Seeker and die to Goda as they clear out all the other blockers that matter one by one. Yep. This is why you die if they hit max speed. They tutor out their biggest bomb now. And get to double spell because of the sequence I went for of holding up Siphon Fuel. I now get to go 3-drop, 3-drop this turn. And this is 2/2/2s to block their 2/2/2s, but we're about to see what the best card in their whole deck is off of our victory. Yeah, I think we've sequenced this about as best as we could hope for. Being able to Siphon into double spelling this turn is the most efficient stabilization we can try to do. But it is removal. There goes Surveyor. And then probably crack the Hour of Victory here. They just really wanted extra damage there. I'm surprised they would rather just hit me for 2 more damage than tutor up the best card in their deck that turn. Flood the Engine is really bad here. Because it's like, yeah, I can try to keep it for whatever they tutor for, but if I do that, I don't have blocks for any of the damage they're hitting me with right now. This is tragic, but I'm pretty sure I have to flood the 2/2 so that I can stop its damage, because my 1/1 sure isn't doing that, and by flooding that I also get to raise my speed here and not have to hold up just a chumper. Oh my god. Haster down to 4. There's Possession Engine to steal the Oil Gorger and then hit max speed this turn. I'm going to be at max speed with the 5 mana to cast anything in the whole deck. I'm dead to a lot of stuff if I maximize my speed this turn, because I'm at 4, and Oblivion puts me to 2. Oh wait, no. If I max my speed, Oblivion can't hit me. So they just play any creature, they hit me with Burner Rocket. I go to 1, but I'm not dead, because Oblivion can't hit me anymore. Yeah, I think because Oblivion can't hit me anymore, I can just take the Oil Gorger, maximize my speed, and hope my Hour Victory is infinitely better than theirs, but I doubt it will be. I think just Hour Victory for like Lightning Strike or something. It's probably the play. Is the pick Oil Gorger? I don't think it's gonna matter what I pick, because I think I will just die. But if I don't just die, gaining 3 a turn genuinely seems like the best thing I can be doing, even more than drawing cards. Because being at 1 life against Rakdos, there's so much that can kill me, that even if I have a million cards off of Gonti, I'm in a bad spot. Okay, so if they have some way to like Lightning Strike my face plus play a 1 mana creature, we're dead this turn. Wow, they're so excited. They like full control moded and tried to crack Hour in the upkeep. They definitely have lethal off of something in deck. Do they have a thrill roller? Oh my god, Thrill Seeker, yeah. Ping 1, Crew Rocket, send 3. Yeah. Alright, brutal deck from our opponent. Double Thrill Seeker in there. What are you gonna do? Yeah, like I'm thinking it back on it. I liked the Siphon Fuel into double spell. I think that's about all we could have really done there. Holding back a chump blocking Thopter still loses this game handedly, because then they just hour victory. I'm not at max speed. They can even Oblivion me for 2, so they could just hour into Lightning Strike or something. Or they could do the exact same thing they did, right? Where they just hour victory into the Thrill Seeker, and then I have to chump a 2/3. And then I'm not at max speed, so I don't get to tutor anything with the hour there. Yeah, no, I think that's all we could have really done. 2-2 it is, heading into game number 5. Here we are on the draw for game a lot. We're on game number 5 here, 2-2 right now. If I win one more game, I can meet my prediction. And this hand is quite strong. Sadly, we're on the draw. But, again, still has a lot going for it. Uh-oh. On the draw against a Mana Dork. They're going to play 4 drops while I'm sitting on my 2 lands and crying. Not quite. This doesn't add mana immediately. They don't get to play a 4-drop this turn, but they get to play a 5-drop on our turn 3. Which is still really bad. If they have anything good in hand. And they are Golgari, the 2 strongest colors in the format, so they're going to have something good in hand. We'll see what it is, though. Every time a creature dies, they draw a card. Insanely statted alchemy enchantment. Let's start speeding up. Luckily, our deck might have one of the best matchups possible against Spectacle of Destruction. It's still going to be a good card for sure, but a lot of our combat, we're just going to be flying past each other and not doing any blocking anywhere. So creatures are going to be dying a little bit less in this matchup than most, to stop them from drawing as many spells as they could otherwise. Hold up a spin out, I see. I see it and I hate it. I see it and I hate it, because I want to play Muyan Ling. That is the only mana efficient play that I have. Why couldn't you just tap out for something? Maybe they're tapping out for Scurryfoot, and they just get to hide the information by holding this up, because Scurryfoot's instant speed. Yeah, that's kind of gross. I forgot Scurryfoot's instant speed, so it's like they could just be intending to exhaust this the whole time, and I will never know because they can just do it in my end step anyway. I can attack with Skystreak Engineer and hope they're scared enough of our victory to throw removal at my initial flyers instead of throwing removal at Muyan Ling. I feel like the odds of a Golgari deck not having removal here are pretty low. So I'm going to play around removal. Okay, even if they have it, they're not interested in stopping me from max speed yet. If I play Camera Launcher, next turn I can play the Engineer and exhaust the Launcher. Be mana efficient there. They are indeed just going to Scurryfoot for now, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't have a spin out in hand. That just means they've played some of these alchemy drafts and they're scared of the intense amount of rares and mythics. I think if they do have the removal spell, now is the point where they're going to do it, because if they don't, I am going to have max speed for our victory. So they know if they don't removal spell here, I'm gonna draw a bomb rare. Going from 3 to 4. So they go Broodheart Engine, they go Molt Tender, so they don't have the removal. Wonderful. They're tapped out, so I get to draw an extra card here, guaranteed. Well, no, they've got 1 mana up. I forgot they've got 1 Molt Tender. No, they don't. They don't have any cards in grave. I lied. Draw a card. Whee! Oh my god, we draw the Gonti if they kill the Moo. I wonder if this card's gonna get a reskin for the Avatar The Last Airbender set. The end of the year. Noctamoon shines again. Their entire board perpetually gets +1/+1, as well as everything in their whole deck. Well, no, all their mana value 2 or less creatures in their whole deck. And then they get another one, and then they give them all flying for a turn. That's pretty scary, but I'm at 20, and I'm going to start stealing cards from their deck and drawing extra cards, so... Now this is Alchemy. Bomb v Bomb v Bomb v Bomb. Spectacle of Destruction and Noctamoon Strikes Again versus Gonti and Windrider. I am not putting Gonti at risk. I'm not blocking with that guy. We know they're white. They could be splashing the Exile a tapped creature card, though. Which makes me also want to kind of not tap Gonti. So Gonti triggers for every single creature that hits them, but the Windrider only triggers off of one of the two. But I think it's still worth trying to hit with 2 instead of just 1 for the Gonti triggers. If they don't instant speed removal Gonti here. Wonderful. Let's go. Draw 3. The deck idea is coming together. We drew a Masterpiece Vault off of them and a Forest. Oh, did I already play land for turn? That was a misplay. I should not have played land for turn yet. I forgot Gonti's going to be letting us get their lands. Okay, there's nothing I want to overtake yet, so we just play the Engineer. I'm probably going to sack our victory, honestly. I just want more flyers immediately. Pretty happy that this doesn't perpetually give the creatures flying. It's only going to be 1 turn of flying, because that would block us off pretty well. What? How? What are the odds that's the 2-drop they hit? I mean, maybe it's the last 1 or 2 mana card left in their deck, but I doubt it. God dang it. So now they have a 4/4 flyer up on blocks? Okay, I can... Oh, I should have played their land yet again. I can overtake the Engineer to force them to tap out to make the dragon, and then I can steal the dragon, so I can keep getting my flying damage in. But I have to throw 2 removal spells at this thing, because it can make the dragon at instant speed, which is rough. Because all my removal is sorcery speed. If my removal was instant speed, I could just kill the dragon itself and get everybody in immediately. But it's not. It's sorcery speed. So they're not going to make the dragon until I declare the attack and can no longer cast the removal. Oh, my possession engine is flying too. That's very funny. Are they going to run over? Okay, goodbye, Moo. Oh, the vehicle doesn't have flying anymore. But they only have 3/3 blockers, so I think the attack is still fine. Yeah, I'll probably still attack with this. Their Spectacle of Destruction is going to pop off. That's just straight up draw a card every turn for the rest of the game now. And Gonti keeps these cards even if Gonti dies, I can play them. I just won't get treasures for playing them anymore. Cool. I mean, they've got a flying swing if they want it. But I imagine against a Gonti, they want as many blockers up as possible. This is 8 mana to play in Crack, which is a lot, but it does auto-equip a Sword of Blank and Blank. If we can find Sword of Feast and Famine, that'll be really lucky here against primarily green-black from our opponent. It says this is supposed to perpetually have +1/+1, but it's a 2/2 and not a 3/3. Isn't this supposed to be a 2/2 because their Knock the Moon hit it, but I stole it? This is supposed to be a 3/3, right? Weird. Alchemy's weird. 5/2 tie rocks. They're full on 5-color. They are all in on Molt Tenders and they are working out. Elvish Refueler. No exhaust card on their board right now. That's not that bad. Okay, we're chilling. We're chilling. They pass turn. They don't have flying anymore. Curse Cloth Wrappings too. A guaranteed Muyon Ling is probably better than a random card from Masterpiece Vault. Okay, the auto tap is not being smart about it. I need double blue up. This game's ridiculous. This is the magical Christmas land I imagined when I drafted this deck and thought that I would manage to assemble a curve. I'm not going to attack with Possession Engine. I don't want to put it at risk of dying to removal that blows up creatures. Blockbuster, Thopterist, pass. And Broodheart Engine something. How bad is that for me? It's not bad right now. Spectacle of Destruction is going to keep drawing non-lands, guaranteed. We're thinning their deck a lot, because this keeps pulling lands out, this keeps milling, these keep milling, this keeps exiling cards. I doubt we're going to mill them before they die to combat damage, but technically that's another route to victory here with them at only 10 cards left. Maybe I'll get the Mill Sword. The Mill Sword mills like 10 cards, I think. At least. That would just be game. Yeah, there's Thunderhead Gunner milling them even more. I think I'm just gonna Masterpiece Vault at this point. It's certainly the funnest thing, and I think I'm in a really safe position to go for that potential insta-kill. I guess I need Pro Red to get past the Gunner, though. So it won't be an insta-kill. Because the one that mills them 10 cards is the protection from blue and green one. They could just block. Although there's the Flood the Engine. Do I have the mana? Let's see. Cast this. 5 to crack it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have 2 mana up. I'll be 1 mana off. Whatever. I'm gonna go for it anyway. Yeah, 1 mana off from Flood the Engine. Okay, they concede anyway. It is pretty annoying when your opponent casts some of your best rares against you, and that is how Gonti do. We are 3-2, heading into game number 6. No matter what happens now, I kind of reached how well I thought this deck would do on average, so we take those. Yeah, if we can get any further, I am super duper happy. Here we are on the draw. We've got a turn 2 Unforgiving Overtake or Skystreak Engineer, and then a bunch of flyers to start the engines and get that speed going. This is a very reasonable start. I'm going to keep it. I think I have more double black than double blue. Okay, I've got... never mind, I just drew one, so I can just play the black source here. Ooh, they start with District Mascot. That card is very good if you have it in your opening hand, and pretty mediocre otherwise. But if you have it in your opening hand, you play any other creature and it's going to turn into a 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, and so on, and it is multiple naturalizes on a stick. So having it in the opener there, pretty good for opponent. They didn't have the 2-drop to go with it though, so considerably weaker. Opponent has the lands, you always have to double check. Green, white. No blue mana over there. Don't have to worry about them countering a creature spell. Even if they were blue, I'm probably casting that over Overtaking Mascot this early. Ooh, buff the mount, plus they saddle it with the captain? Alright, that's really gross. That kind of makes up for them not having a 2-drop. That was a really good card to have alongside District Mascot. Mascot is pressuring a lot of damage already. I'm just slowing him down, I think. My engines aren't started, so I don't really care about hitting them for 1 versus protecting myself from 2. Well, that card's going to kill us real fast. Every creature they cast for the rest of the game puts +1/+1 counters onto the amulet, and whatever is equipped gets, you know, +X/+X for all of the power they played. So even if they just play like 3 2/2s, they now have an equipment to give +6/+6 to anything, so even top decking a 1/1 in the late game, that 1/1's a 7/7. So yeah, this Quick Beast Amulet is a definite example of a bonkers alchemy rare for sure. Their hand is a 4/4 and a 6/6, but this doesn't trigger the amulet at least, but it is good removal. So next turn they're going to play Hazard. This thing's going to be a 6/7, and we are going to take a ton of damage really fast, so we have to draw some of our own bombs or the game's over fast. Amulet. Gonna amulet. Well, there you go. This is gonna get exiled by Detention Chariot if they top decked a land. But it's still quite a nice card. Awkward against the Hazard here. I do have to find removal to work alongside her. They hit the land for Chariot anyway. I mean, when the choices were to play the Wind Rider or 1 Ghost Surveyor, I think we did the best we could. Oof. They're just going to Lotus Guard Disciple instead to make the amulet even bigger and gain 5,000 life points here. Sure. Move the amulet to the Trampler and the game is so over. Cool. Go to 1. Keep my card draw options open. We die if we don't hit removal. That is not removal. But this is why we keep the card draw options open. This is the only way that I'm guaranteed to be able to draw 2 cards here and have slightly more chances to hit removal. I will still just die, because I'll kill the Hazard and then only have 1 blocker up. But at least I tried to draw it. Probably should have attacked with only the vehicle, actually, because then they have to lose the Disciple or let me draw the card. I didn't hit removal anyway. Alright. That's kind of how these alchemy drafts go. We saw last game, and when we just mega bombed the heck out of our opponent, there was really no coming back, and our opponent just mega bombed the heck out of us on this one with the Quick Beast Amulet. 3-3 it is gonna be. Man, I am still a little sad. I did think this deck would hit around 3-3 because the mana curve is super awkward and pretty bad, and is running a lot of more mediocre creatures for synergy, like Glitch Ghost Surveyors and launchers for more flyers with these 2 rares. But I think that the deck idea of getting a bunch of evasive threats with the Wind Rider and the Night Minister was a really fun idea. So when that was like ticking and we were getting damage in with one or the other of those cards, it was pretty fun. So I did have a good time in like 2 of these games. And then, the other one was just like, okay, I'll just get lucky. And then the losses were just like, yep, we'll just get crushed. I don't know. I think I just had so much fun when the deck was firing on all cylinders that I want to play with it a little more, and I can't. Again, I think 3 and 3 is probably where this deck was going to end up because of the really awkward curve and the mediocre filler cards to get it full up. But despite this being probably what the deck deserves to go at just like a 3 and 3 here, I can't help but want to play the deck more, and I can't. So I'm still definitely a little sad. But it is what it is. Fine run here. We got a bunch of cool rares for the collection. This was a fun, interesting deck. Not often you get to do a all flying creature kind of build around deck with the Wind Rider. I think this is the only time I've gotten to play the Wind Rider ever. Some other rares I've definitely played with before. They're all incredible. Sadly, they didn't show up super duper often. But when they did, they were fantastic. So 3 and 3 run it is this time around. Very basic, very even record here. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.